Hello everyone and welcome back to another developer update with me, Pavia Ross, and I'm joined today with the one and only
Pavia Paul.
How are you?
I'm good. You?
Good to see you, good to see you.
Yeah.
Tell me, what's been going on in the world of Pavia?
Lots. Was that Pavio or Pavia?
Yeah,
either.
Mate.
Let's roll with that.
You're in the two companies now, don't you?
That's fine. In the world of Pavio, we've all sorts of stuff. We got... since our last update, we've been working on tons. We've been working on District 3 for the Plaza, which is amazing. I love it. I think we mentioned it in the last call. That's basically done now. And I think we're going to show it very soon.
Ooh,
I'm looking at you because you're going to do that piece of work. So that's great. So that'll be revealed in the next couple of weeks. We may even have a couple of little snippets off the back of it.
Little sneak peek. Stay tuned,
You never know. So we'll do that. We've also been working on the Mech Pavs, which has been a whole ton of fun.
Super excited.
Not going to get into that in this particular podcast, but stuff to be revealed relatively soon around that. We're very happy how that's going. So that's
Indeed.
cool.
Awesome.
Playground mostly, which I can talk about if you want.
Absolutely. Yeah. The playground's quite an interesting one because it seems like it's developed into something more than what we thought it was going to be. So talk to me about how it's been developed.
Yeah. So I think we may have touched upon this briefly in the last podcast, but what we learned from the live event was how valuable it was getting feedback from the community. And we're very lucky because we have a community that we can get feedback from. You know, it's not like we have to squirrel ourselves away and build for years and wait for these folks. So that was a fantastic experience. So we asked ourselves the question, how can we do that more? And how can we get the community sort of more involved, or at least seeing what we're building in real time? And then it occurred to us at the same time we were doing a lot of theme work in what we lovingly called the playground, needs a better name. But internally, for seeing how themes work in the outer world. And by themes, when we talk about them, that's the roads, the pavings, all the ancillary props and everything around it. Because we don't want Pavia to be the same across the board. And as you know, watch other videos if you need the details, but all of our world's procedurally generated. So there's a whole bunch of work that goes around this sort of theming. So we have this internal sort of mini project, which we call the playground, which enables us to test and iterate various functions of the game and so on and so forth. So we thought maybe it would just be an interesting idea to put that live, a version of it for like permanently, up, join it anytime you like. Put multiplayer tech in it, put voice in it, voice chat tech, and some, and text chat, and basically do like a 100 plot area, where everybody could just join our prototype as we're working on it. Yeah. So it's not the finished thing by any stretch of the imagination, and some things will come in, then they'll disappear, because this is what it's like in the studio every day. We try things, we don't like it. We try things and we love it, so we keep them. We prototype stuff a bit rough and see if it's working, and then we polish it and make it better. And we thought it might not be a bad idea to do this publicly with everybody else.
Absolutely, that's smart.
So 100 plots of land-ish, 90 to 100, I think we're probably going to do, is like 0.1% of the overall,
and it's big. Like,
and it's still pretty
100 plots is still like nothing to be sniffed at. Yeah.
So we thought, well, let's take 0.1% of Pavia, put it live, and then just go join it when you want. Get your Ready Player Me character, join it, chat with some friends, walk around. Know that it's entirely prototype. In fact, it's more than prototype. We're literally just letting you see what we're working on a daily basis. But we think we've got this wonderful opportunity to sort of work, develop in public with the community and test stuff, actually.
So this is actually a fantastic time, not only for people just to jump in, but for you guys to gather ongoing feedback, just like the live events. You can get better and you can improve. When can we expect to see this? What's the planning behind it?
With some sort of limited functionality, it will be Q2 sometime.
Nice.
For sure.
Nice.
And what we hope to have functionally when we first release it will be obviously multiplayer, Ready Player Me, hopefully voice and chat. You're going to see 100 plots with just some fixed PCAs on them, some buildings, already built out, just replicated. So initially there won't be the ability to build and publish, but But what's great about having this is because we're working heavily on the builder tool.
Yeah.
These two complement each other really, really well.
Absolutely.
So very quickly we'll be able to go, right, okay, if people are building on the builder tool, we put their plot inside the prototype,
yes,
the playground.
Love that. Yeah.
Oh, wow, that's mine. That's cool. And we're constantly just going to be releasing new functions. So, we've got all the... So, some of it's really nice, like weather systems to play around with. At the moment, when you walk around it, you can literally toggle through a load of different road surfaces. So you can see stuff that we're experimenting with. We'll probably have like 2 or 3 what we call themes. So you go, oh, this is a theme. This is sort of an urban theme, or this is a sort of, a woodland theme kind of thing. Probably have 2 to maybe 3 of those. So you can literally switch themes in the whole world and see what they might look like, that kind of thing.
And themes are really important because, as we say, when you jump into this playground, it's 100 plots of land.
Yeah.
That's nothing really in comparison to the whole map.
No.
And, why are themes so important throughout the whole of Pavia?
I think it's basically because we don't want things to be the same everywhere you go. We want districts to have a certain feel about them. We wanted to build the tech to make sure that they were dynamic so we can actually control them remotely.
Very important.
So you never know, there could be like some sort of gamification of this at some point in the future. And I know I've alluded to it before, but there could definitely be some large world takeovers of Halloween and stuff like that. So that's one of the reasons we're building it this way, is so we can literally change what the world's like. And as you know, not to talk about plot merging now, but that was another big reason for it as well. So themes will adapt around plots.
Being in control, for sure.
And all that kind of stuff. So that's the primary reason for it. But what we're going to do is we've decided, so there'll be a few little roadmap updates as a result of this. We're probably going to do this. We've been focusing on this more heavily than we thought once we came up with this idea. We're probably, rather than put the plaza live, we're going to put this live instead, because we think it would be far more beneficial for the community to see the outer world stuff on a small scale than the plaza. And then the plaza will be really exciting because that will come when we do more of the main release later. So we're probably going to switch that around a bit. We may have to push the release of the builder back a little bit as a result of this change. So that may be more sort of Q2. But we're just shuffling priorities around. On the roadmap, I think there's a couple of things that have come forward, which is great news. The builder may be delayed a little bit as a result of that. And then the other thing about the playground we really like is we feel like there's going to be a much more sort of constant dialogue we can have with the community around what we're building. Yeah. And therefore that may bleed into the actual rollout of the whole experience in some way. So at the moment on our roadmap, we're sort of saying, well, full release buildable world in sort of Q3, I think it was. But what we also need to be a little bit cautious of is we don't want to open a world up of 100,000 empty plots and it be very large and very empty. Yep. So one of the things that we'll probably work with the community and obviously internally as well is, does this lead to some more natural evolution of how we roll out the main game to ensure that it's busy and actually you work on critical mass, you sort of grow your community and therefore you grow the world, and it's a participation based model in many ways.
Absolutely.
So so we are playing with some ideas around that. And that's more of just a execution thing as opposed to a tech thing. It's like, what's the best way to take a world and make a world live?
And to tackle
we're just asking ourselves, making the whole thing live in one big go, entirely empty. Is that as good an idea, or are there better ideas that we can explore? So there's some of the things we're jiggling around a little bit. So we'll push a roadmap update out in the next few days or so,
Perfect.
a week, just to say, okay, this is how we're jiggling things a little bit. But the playgrounds, it's cool. It's worth it.
It's looking very sweet. So lots to come, lots being worked on. Some things coming forward, some things being pushed back.
Yep.
And then I guess my last question is, you personally, what have you got on your radar coming up?
Well, all of that's quite a lot. We've got GDC in a couple of weeks' time.
Awesome.
End of March. So if people don't know, GDC is the annual game developer conference. It's not the only game developer conference, but it's the big one. It has been for donkey's years in San Francisco. And it's worth mentioning because it doesn't probably appear on many NFT crypto people's radar. Yeah. But in the games industry, this is the one. But just to let you know, is we've seen Web3 games and crypto introduce itself into that conference more and more and more.
Big emerging space.
Massive emerging space. And it's really interested to see how the rub goes down between the sort of traditional Web2 gaming community and the new Web3 NFT community. And that is the place to really see these debates take place. But it's super important for us because Pavia is, we don't talk about an enormous amount, but I spend quite a lot of time working with some pretty cutting edge technology in terms of AI, particularly, and people emerging in that space, streaming tech and that kind of thing, to see what tech we can plug into the Pavia world that's going to make the user experience really, really cool.
This guy.
And so there is loads of companies that I've been having discussions with where they are building just the most awesome things that would actually dovetail into what we're doing so sweetly.
Yeah.
But they're all very early as well.
Yeah.
So we build those relationships at the senior level, make sure we know each other. They know about our project. I know about their project. We discuss how we could work together. And I'm always trying to position Pavia to have some of this tech plugged into it early.
That's awesome.
Again, so we and the community can go, oh my God, look what I can do inside of Pavia now. And so that's a massive part of what GDC is
that's
just
amazing.
Seeing some of the emerging tech, particularly around AI this year for sure.
That's amazing. So busy trip coming up for you.
Yep.
Lots to be working on. I hope you guys enjoyed this developer update. If you have comments, please leave them down below and we'll see you next time.